And we're back. Rush Limbaugh here in the Cutting Edge, Societal Evolution. This is Mike in Columbia, South Carolina. Welcome, sir. Great to have you.
Hey, Rush. I've been listening to you for a long time, and you've always said you would just be objective, not endorse candidates, not take sides. Well, this latest Trump comment on abortion, to me, is just the latest thing that shows he's just out of his league here. He's not ready for this. Look back. He didn't even know what the nuclear triad was. He thinks Japan and South Korea and Saudi Arabia need to all nuke up and take care of it themselves. I mean, to me, it's just, it's very simple. I mean, the fact that he had to retract it so fast, I mean, like you said, and I agree with you with the Chris Matthews and the Gotcha and the George Stephanopoulos, and I get that. But, Rush, come on, being objective here, I look to you as a source of common sense, and it just seems to me Rush, you practically spent the last hour and a half just trying to explain this thing and slice it and dice it 87 ways to Sunday. I don't care who he hangs out with. I don't care if he's not political. I mean, it's almost, and Rush, I love your show.
Wait a second.
Just recently, it's almost like you're going so far out of your way and almost doing backflips and cartwheels to defend Trump. It's just it's a turnoff at this point.
I'm not defending Trump. I'm trying to answer. You just said some things. Let me ask you some questions. You just remind everybody Trump doesn't know what the nuclear triad is. And you went through a whole bunch of things that you are convinced that Trump is a total ignoramus on. Doesn't know. Not total. Okay.
Out of his league.
Is an ignoramus, or he just doesn't know. Whatever. The point is, my question to you, why? Are you not at all curious why he's not losing any supporters because of this?
Well, I go back to one of the previous callers. He was kind of hitting on the salesman thing. My humble opinion, I think he's just a big loudmouth. And you've always talked at such length about how Obama's an empty suit. That's my opinion of Trump to a certain extent. He's out of his league. I mean, and yes, you're right. Snurdly I support Cruz, and I do. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would you try to answer my question? Because this question I'm asking you is a big explanation for what I'm doing in this whole, not just today's program, but this whole campaign.
Okay.
Now, throughout this entire campaign, everybody has tried every which way they know to separate Trump from his supporters. Nothing has worked. Yet I have people calling here and emailing me, telling me, Rush, you have got to tell people what a fraud Trump is. You've got to. It's too important. You've got to tell them they're screwing up. You've got to tell them they got to abandon Trump. Everybody and their uncle has tried that, and all that happens is those people glue themselves tighter to Trump. No matter what flaw, no matter what ignorant remark, no matter what apparent sign of incompetence, inexperience, no matter what you mention, his support base either grows or stays the same. Does that not fascinate you? Does that not make you curious in this? I mean, or I know it ticks you off. I know it makes you mad, but does it not make you curious at all?
Yes, it does.
Okay, then how would you do it? How would you tell people that they are making a grave error? How would you tell people that they are putting the country in their hands and they're about to destroy the whole thing because they're supporting a know-nothing? They're supporting an empty, vacuous salesman who really doesn't care about them and can't do 90% of what he's promising to do. What would you do to separate them from him?
Well, Rush, you have explained it very well, and today's not the first time, about how no matter what he does or what he says, that
wait a minute.
Are stuck.
I thought you just accused me of making excuses for him and supporting him and whatever. Now you're telling me I'm doing it the right way.
No, you explained Trump's voters.
You said you didn't want to hear about that, though. I had to listen to an hour and a half of you two. I don't care about it. He's a salesman. Okay, so I'm asking you. This is what I deal with every day. You want me to destroy Trump. Essentially, You want me to destroy his candidacy. You want me, Rush, we've counted on you. We've depended on you. And you're not telling people the truth about it. They know. They can hear just like you can hear. They see he doesn't know what the triad is. Doesn't matter. Do you think, how many of Trump supporters do you think know that there is no way on earth that he can make Apple transfer manufacture the iPhone to the United States? How many of supporters do you think know that?
I think his supporters, in a kind of for different reasons, are kind of like Obama's, what do you call them, low information people to a certain extent. And it's just those people, listen, now that we've narrowed it down, it just seems that people are starting to wake up. And the non-Trump vote, the more it's not getting split, 16 people. Now it's down to 1, I guess 2 if you count Kasich. But I just think, listen, I didn't call here today. Snerdley, what he said I was about to say and the positions I have, I said, well, that's not really right. That's kind of how he read me. And I was a little worked up when I called in. But the frustrating thing to me is how much time you spent today. Okay, so you say you weren't defending him. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. But to try to look at this from so many different angles and psychoanalyze this, and Trump's coming from this, that's what gets old to me.
Do you understand that this man might end up being the nominee of the Republican?
Sure.
Okay. Do you not have... I guess you're just not as curious as I am. These things are endlessly fascinating to me. I have spent however many years doing this radio. I have been unable in mass numbers to separate Democrat voters from their stupid support of their candidates. I can't separate a mind-numb robot that loves Obama from Obama. I've tried. It happens. I mean, over the course of years, you'll hear people call here and say, I was a liberal until I heard your show. But that doesn't happen en masse. And I have been studying this the entire time I've been doing this program. What is it that gloms people to other candidates? What is it that makes them loyal to an ideology, to a party? Is it personal? Is it, what is it? I've explored it because, like you, I wish everybody who supported Democrats would abandon them. My objective, and I've said I don't know how many times, the objective here throughout this whole campaign, wherever we end up, is to beat Hillary Clinton. And that's what motivates me, animates me, informs me, and energizes me. That's where this is all headed. Everything else is a distraction. It's all got to be about beating Hillary Clinton. Whoever the nominee is, you don't have any control over it. I don't have any control over it. Nobody else does. Yet we all try to do what we can to bend and shape things to end up the way we want them. So we have a circuit. This is what happened. You may not look at it this way, but I'm telling you, in terms of the presidential election in November, what happened last night on MSNBC is huge. It is huge. And if you don't recognize it because you're so opposed to Trump and you're so dissuaded by Trump and you're so angry or whatever, what happened last night is major in a damaging way. In a hugely damaging way. Because what happened last night was, if any crossovers, Democrats thinking of crossing over, here comes this war on women thing. Last night, this was just, and it needn't have happened. It's all based on a phony premise, a phony hypothetical question based on a reality that will never be reality. But the ammunition that gave Democrats last night, I can't tell you how it's rejuvenated them. And I also can't tell you what it's done to the Republican leadership. They're running around quaking in their boots now. These people are already sitting there in a total defensive posture as their natural existence anyway. They're afraid of the media. They're afraid of this issue. They're afraid of social issues. They're afraid of racism. They're afraid of all of this stuff. And now here it's reared their heads, and they're no more equipped to deal with it than Trump is. And it's a major, major problem. And so I'm simply trying to explain to people what it was and how it happened in a small way to try to diminish the effectiveness of it for the Democrats. You think I'm defending Trump. You think I'm not helping Cruz. What I'm trying to do is limit the damage it's done to us and to prevent the Democrats getting a big score out of it. because my whole point here is to defeat Democrats, defeat liberalism. That's the destructive force. This thing that happened, like, you may not want to hear an hour and a half about, but I'm telling you what happened last night was huge in terms of rejuvenating the Democrats. They were moribund. They were falling asleep. They were depressed. They don't have a candidate they can give a damn about. They're excited, not at all. Their turnout is nothing. Now they're energized. I'm simply trying to do what little I can to limit the damage of what happened last night. Now, if you want to sit there and, man, you keep defending Trump, could you expand the way you're looking at this a little bit? You've got 27 years experience with me behind the golden EIB microphone. Why do you think I would sell out in 6 months? What evidence is there that that would ever happen? I'll be back a little long in the segment. Don't go away.